The head of Umuadi, seeing his error, promised to build a place for the priestess healer. Therefore, the house of Mazo Bioma and Ezinne was extended and upgraded to meet the standard for the home of the most revered position in Umuadi and the 7 bounded villages. Obianuju began her training. Now as a priestess, she was required to understand the spiritual things, harness the powers, and wield the powers. She would take journeys into the spirit world with the high priestess as her guide. Despite being afraid, she agreed with her parents that the gods must have chosen her for a reason, and that she would be okay and do great in her role as a priestess healer. You must take your training seriously, her mother had said. As you know, the role requires you to match the role of the healer, the seer, and the high priestess. Learn as much as you can from your mentor, and may the gods who chose you guide you. Her father's advice was equally the same, except that he used different phrases and some proverbs. Obianuju got a day off after every 8 days of intense work and seclusion. Her day off was not just for her to see her family and play around, but to tour the village and connect with the spirits of the land. On one such day, she decided to visit her friend Ngozi in Mazi Odum's house, where she apprenticed. Word had gone out that Obianuju had returned to the village as the priestess healer, but Ngozi could not visit her. It had been 1 month since she returned, and they had not seen each other. She needed to see the note that Ebube had sent her. Even Ebube had come home during the New Yam festival, but went back without seeing Obianuju. He had insisted that Ngozi see her, as she would know what to do. Welcome, great one, Mazi Odun greeted when Obianuju walked into his compound. Everyone bowed and greeted in unison. May the gods bless you, Obianuju responded, and raised her staff. Everyone then went back to their work. What brings you to my humble home? Mazi Odun asked. At least, serve me some kola nuts before the questions. I'm sorry, great one. Mazi Odun led Obianuju into his living room and offered her a seat. He then served her some kola nuts. As tradition demands, Obianuju asked him to break the kola nut as he is the oldest man in the room. Then she took a piece, raised it, and blessed it. She then gave the piece to Mazi Odun as a blessing to his own. Thank you, my priestess, Mazi Odun said. He was both happy and impressed. The Obianuju of yesterday, who was known as the loudmouth of the village, had transformed into a beautiful woman, healer, and priestess. Now, if I may ask, my priestess, what brings you to my home today? I wish to seek permission to see my friend Ngozi, your apprentice. If you can lend her to me for a few hours today, I would appreciate that. I will send and fetch her for you, my priestess. Ngozi was not oblivious to her friend's new role and the power it embodies. When Mazeldon sent for her, she was excited and ran all the way to where Obianuju was waiting. To Obianuju's surprise, her crazy friend ran into the room, but instead of giving her a hug or cursing at her for taking too long to see her, she paused by the door and bowed. My priestess, it is good to see you. Obianuju raised her staff with tears in her eyes. The gods bless you, my friend. Ngozi looked up. Can I hug you now? Is it okay to come close? I don't know the rules. Come on, come on, come on. Obianuju laughed. There is our crazy friend. You may approach, she said. And before she finished speaking, Ngozi had lifted her off the ground, hugging her so tightly. Members of Mazeldom's family watched the scene with excitement. You can put me down now, Obianuju said. You said I may approach. I want to hold on a little longer. She was not the only one happy and excited. Obianuju was too. So they both hugged each other for some time, laughing. When she let go, Obianuju spoke first. I have requested to have you with me for some hours today, and Mazeldom has been kind enough to oblige me. Ngozi could not hold her joy. Come on, let's go for a walk. On their way to their usual place of meeting under the Roma tree, Ngozi asked many questions, including how Obianuju came to be the priestess healer. It suits you, my friend. The gods will guide you every step of the way. Obianuju was glad and touched. She knew her friend wished her well. Ngozi was always the most loving amongst them, and she saw things that others missed. You know, she began, you should be a prophet. Why so? Ngozi asked. Have you forgotten that when I was leaving, you asked me to become the best healer and a seer you will consult when I return? Yes, that's true. I was just talking, you know. That's my point. You pick up what others miss, and sometimes you don't even know it yourself. Well, it pleased the gods to make me the healer and seer you consult, and they added one you didn't ask for, the priestess. Ngozi laughed and punched into the air. By now they were under the Roma tree. Now, my friend, can you tell me why you have been sad and terrified? Ngozi stopped laughing. What do you mean? I can see your spirit, you know. You are excited to see me, deeply so, but you are also sad and deeply rattled. What is the problem? Now, I can't just hide things peacefully inside, huh? Ghazi said and breathed out. My father's farm did not yield much this year. Some say it is a curse. I don't know what to believe. And there was another troubling news from Opankwa. Ebube sent it. She dipped her hand into her pocket and brought a piece of paper. Here, Obianuju took the paper and read. The spirit weaver is alive. She lives at Elema but may leave in 2 days. Obianuju nodded and folded the paper. There was silence between them for some time. Say something, Ngozi urged. I know that Akunna is alive. I also know where she is now. She paused. Ngozi stared in anticipation. The not-knowing is scarier. Where is she? Here, in Umuadi. Ngozi opened her mouth, but closed it again without saying a word. She stared at Obianuju, expecting details, a solution, anything. She is the wife of the famous hunter, Okunta. Her new name is Olamma. May the gods protect us, was all Ngozi could say. Obianuju stood, raised her staff, and stomped it on the ground 3 times. Gods of Umuadi, it is time, she said. Then she turned to her friend and asked if she could keep the paper she gave her. Of course, I have been keeping that to show it to you. You may go back to your master. No harm will come your way. Ebube will be fine soon. Both hugged each other goodbye and Ngozi left. Usually, she would ask what the plan was and question details to ensure Obianuju was safe. She was a bit compulsive, but that was the old Obianuju. The one she spoke with today had wisdom far beyond her age. She had peace and was certain her friend, the priestess healer, would be all right. The time has come. Something hidden for many years will come to light. So Obianuju set out to visit the new salon in Umuadi. People were used to Akuna, that they did not question or worry about the new hairdresser in town. Her method and rule were similar to Akuna's, but for some reason, the masses did not realize she was Akuna. The council had chosen to hide the information. This is not to alarm the people of Umuadi. The seer was to report back to the head if the stylist had any trouble. The seer had insisted her target was the one who used the mirror. Therefore, she would end whatever mission Akuna had in Umuadi once and for all. When Obianuju reached the salon, there were 3 women braiding their hair. Olamma was at the far end. She stopped a few steps from the door and jiggled the chime on her staff. Everyone turned her way and bowed. The gods bless you, she said. People went on with their work, thinking she was passing by. Obianuju did not move. When they noticed, Olamma stopped braiding. She was afraid the mirror on the priestess healer's staff would expose her. Finish the one before you. I shall wait here. When you are done, you cannot take another for today until you are done with me, Obianuju said. Olamma lifted her head and looked at Obianuju with both anger and fear. She is the one she had returned to destroy. She was sure of it. But she is also the one who had been sent to destroy her. She bowed as is customary to the priestess healer and continued her work. The other people waiting to do their hair left the salon. When she was done, the priestess healer stepped into the room. "What can I do for you, great one?" Olamna asked. She was not sure what to say. She had not planned to meet Obianuju like this. In her plan, she would have the advantage and Obianuju would be begging for her life. Obianuju kept silent. Instead, she walked around the room, looking around and taking in her environment. The two ladies who worked with Olamma were watching her. Obianuju stopped, thumped her staff 3 times on the ground, muttered some words, and sat down. "You were looking for me to kill me. I have come so you can kill me," she said.